The arena of death. The crowd was loud. Thousands of aliens filled the giant arena. Some flew with wings, others had sharp claws. They were here to watch one thing, a fight to the death. At the center of the arena stood a young human soldier. His name was Jace Carter. He looked calm, almost too calm. He wore a thin silver armor that looked more like cloth than metal. The crowd laughed. "Is that a joke?" One alien shouted. "Even my skin is tougher than that armor." Another yelled. In the VIP seat above, a tall alien woman watched with sharp eyes. Her name was Celira, a warrior queen from the Varnek Empire. She was famous for winning over 100 battles. Her body was strong, covered in black and red armor. She stood up and raised her hand. The crowd went silent. "I will fight him myself," she said. Gasps echoed across the arena. Celira had never chosen her own opponent. She was a queen, not a show fighter. "But he is just a human," one of her guards said. Celira smiled. "Exactly." She jumped down into the arena like a falling star. Dust rose around her. Jace didn't move. He looked at her, eyes steady. No fear. Celira walked up slowly. She looked him up and down. "Your armor looks weak," she said. "Is Earth really this poor?" Jace said nothing. "Tell you what," she continued, "I'll end this in one strike. Then you can go back to your soft human dreams." Still, Jace said nothing. The crowd roared again, ready for blood. A loud voice came from the speaker above. "Begin." Celira moved like lightning. Her blade flashed in the sun, aimed right at Jace's chest. She smiled. This would be over in seconds. But then, Sirak! Everyone froze. Her blade had hit Jace's armor and shattered like glass. Shards of her weapon fell around them, sparkling in the dust. Celira's eyes went wide. She stepped back. Her hand shook. The crowd went silent. Jace finally spoke, his voice calm. "That was your best weapon." Celira didn't answer. She was still staring at the broken pieces. Her blade was made of xerolith, a crystal metal said to cut through anything. It had never broken before, not even once. What are you?" she whispered. Jace didn't reply. He took one step forward. The crowd gasped. Celira stepped back. Suddenly, guards rushed in from all sides. The match was over, but no one knew who had won. Jace raised his hands peacefully. "I'm not here to kill." The guards surrounded him anyway, weapons ready, but no one dared to touch him. Celira raised her hand. "Let him go." The guards looked at her, confused. "But your blade." "I said let him go," she repeated. Jace turned around and walked toward the gate. He didn't run. He didn't look back. As he left the arena, Celira stayed still. Her hand was bleeding slightly from the shock of the broken blade. But she didn't care. She looked up at the sky. "There's something strange about this human," she said to herself. "Something dangerous." In the crowd, aliens were no longer laughing. They were whispering. "Did you see that? His armor didn't even scratch. Is he some kind of weapon?" Back in her private chamber, Celira stared at a small piece of her broken sword. It was still warm. She spoke to her assistant. "I want everything we know about human soldiers. All of it. Now." "But Your Highness," the assistant said, "humans are weak. They don't even have high tech like we do." Celira held the shard tighter, then explained this. The assistant gulped and left. Far away, in a dark room underground, Jace sat alone. His armor glowed faintly. He touched a small scar on his chest, a reminder of a war long ago. He wasn't born to be a fighter. He was made into one. And now, the galaxy would see what humans were truly capable of. What is he hiding? The arena was still cold from the shock. Days had passed since the fight between Jace and Celira, but people across the galaxy were still talking about it. Videos of the shattered blade were being shared on every planet. Experts, scientists, and warlords all asked the same question. How did a simple human soldier survive the strike of a blade made from Zerolith? No one had the answer. Except maybe Jace himself, inside the Varnak Citadel. Celira stood in her war room. The lights were dim, and the walls were covered in holograms showing images of Earth, human history, and military reports. Her eyes were fixed on the slow-motion replay of the moment her blade hit Jace's chest and shattered like glass. She had watched it more than 100 times now. Every time, she paused at the same frame, right before the blade broke. "There's something around him," she muttered. "Something we can't see." Her assistant, Tharn, entered quietly. "We've run tests, my queen. His armor doesn't match any known material. It's not metal, not fabric, not synthetic. It's unknown." "Then find out," she snapped. "Send someone to follow him. I want to know what he eats, where he sleeps, and what he fears." Tharn hesitated. Following him could be dangerous. Celira turned to him. "Then send someone who's not afraid to die." Meanwhile, in the lower docks, Jace walked through the shadowy corridors of the city beneath the arena. He had been given a small room to stay in. No windows, just one light above his bed and a chair made of old metal. He didn't seem to care. He liked quiet places. He sat cross-legged on the floor. His eyes were closed, his breathing slow. On the table beside him lay a silver device the size of a pebble. It pulsed with soft blue light. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. "I know you're there," he said. From the shadows, a figure froze. It was Zarnok, a stealth spy trained by the Varnak military. No one had ever seen him until it was too late. But now, Jace had spoken before he even moved. "How?" Zarnok whispered. Jace stood up. "You're not very good at hiding your thoughts." Zarnok stepped forward, holding two blades. "The Queen wants to know what you are." "I'm just a man," Jace said quietly. Zarnok rushed at him. Fast, sharp, deadly. But in the blink of an eye, Jace was behind him. A soft thud. Zarnok hit the wall and collapsed. He wasn't dead, just unconscious. Jace walked over, picked up the spy's small communicator, and spoke into it. "Tell your queen. She's asking the wrong question. The real question is, what am I becoming?" He dropped the device and left. Back at the Citadel, Celira stared at the communicator in her hand. Zarnok had failed. That had never happened before. She wasn't angry. She was curious. She turned to Tharn. "Do you know what this means?" Tharn frowned. "He's not normal." Celira shook her head. "No, it means he let me live." Her hands clenched. "I mocked him, attacked him, and he didn't kill me." Tharn asked, "Why not?" Celira said slowly, "Either he's a fool, or he's here for something bigger. Elsewhere. Secret room, level 9. Jace entered a dark hall lit with blue lights. A round table stood in the center. Around it sat 3 figures with faces hidden under hoods. A deep voice spoke. "You broke protocol. You revealed your strength." Jace sat down. "I had to." Another voice, softer, asked, "Did they test you?" Jace nodded. "The Queen sent a spy. I stopped him." The first voice asked, "Do they suspect your origin?" "No," Jace replied. "But they will." There was silence for a moment. Then the final voice said, "Then it's time. Phase 2 begins." Jace looked up. His eyes glowed faintly blue. "I'll be ready." Flashback. Earth. 5 years ago. Inside a lab deep under the mountains of North America, scientists stood around a glass chamber. Inside was Jace, barely alive. His body was broken after a failed mission. No armor could have saved him. So they made him into something new. They called the project Sentinel-0. They didn't give him armor. They made him the armor. Back to present. Varnak Citadel. Celira stood on her balcony, looking at the stars. She whispered, "Humans are supposed to be weak. So why do I feel like the weak one?" Behind her, Tharn returned with a file. "My queen, we found something. It's not public." He handed her a thin paper. On it was a photo, blurry, dark, but clear enough. It showed Jace standing in the middle of a battlefield. Alone, no armor, no weapons, surrounded by the bodies of over 100 alien soldiers. And he was smiling. Celira's hands began to shake. She now knew one thing. This was no ordinary human. The next fight. The entire Varnek capital buzzed with rumors. In the dark alleys, on busy skywalks, in smoky bars filled with strange alien creatures, everyone talked about the human with the glass-breaking armor. But even more, they whispered about his eyes. Some said they glowed. Others said they saw blue lightning when he moved. And yet, no one could explain what Jace truly was. Inside the war room, Queen Celira stood in silence, staring at the broken sword shard on her desk. Her fingers ran along its sharp edge. The room was filled with high-ranking warriors, all watching her closely. "We cannot let fear spread," said Commander Vorax, his voice deep and sharp like a blade. "The people are calling him Ghost Armor. Some even think he's immortal." Celira didn't look up. "So fix it." "How?" he asked. "You couldn't defeat him." "No one could." Her eyes snapped to him. "That was before. Now, we fight smart." She walked to the center of the room and pointed to a hologram showing Jace's current location. "He's still here. He didn't leave. That means he's not done." She turned to the others. "Put him in the next match. But not against one warrior." She paused. "Put him against 3. Meanwhile, Jace's quarters. Jace sat quietly, eyes closed, as if meditating. The lights in his room flickered. His breathing was steady, like a slow drumbeat. Suddenly, the door slid open. A guard stepped in. "You've been selected for the next arena match." Jace opened his eyes. Another fight. The guard smirked. 3 challengers this time. Jace stood and stretched slowly. "That hardly seems fair." The guard laughed. "For you." Jace didn't reply. He simply followed. The arena. Round 2. The arena was more packed than before. The crowd screamed in excitement. This wasn't just a fight. It was a test. A trap. A message to the galaxy. Even humans can fall. In the center stood 3 warriors. Korga the Bone Eater, a giant beast with 4 arms and a spiked hammer. Vissa the Blade Dancer, fast and cruel, known for cutting her enemies into ribbons. Frick the Crusher, a silent brute in heavy armor, with a weapon that looked like a collapsing star. They stood waiting as the gate opened. And Jace walked out. No fear, no expression. Just silence. "The fight begins. Begin," the voice shouted from above. Korga charged first, roaring like a wild beast. His hammer came crashing down. Jace dodged. The ground cracked where he stood just a second ago. Before Korga could turn around, Jace leaped onto his back, placed his hand on the back of his neck, and released a sudden shock of blue light. Korga screamed and collapsed. The crowd gasped, but there was no time to cheer. Vissa was already in the air, spinning, her blades like silver lightning. She slashed at Jace's throat, but he raised one arm. The blades hit, ping, and bounced off like paper against steel. Jace grabbed her wrist midair and tossed her across the arena like a ragdoll. She crashed into the wall and didn't move. Only one fighter remained. Threk. He was slow but powerful. His massive weapon began to glow, heating the air around it. He took one step forward and swung. Jace didn't move. Boom. The weapon struck Jace's chest directly. Smoke filled the arena. The crowd stood up. Dust covered everything. Then, slowly, it cleared. Jace was still standing. Not a scratch. He looked up, and for a brief moment, his eyes glowed blue. He stepped forward. 1 step. 2. 3. Threk raised his weapon again, but Jace was already behind him. With a single strike to the back of the neck, Threk fell. Silence. No cheers. Just stunned silence. Jace looked around at the audience. Thousands of eyes stared back, wide with fear and awe. He raised one hand and pointed toward Queen Celira's box. No words, just a finger, pointed straight at her. The message was clear. I know you sent them. Backstage, after the match, Celira sat in her private chamber, watching the replay again, over and over. Her hands trembled. He didn't just win, she whispered. He controlled the fight, like he was testing them. Tharn entered. We tried to scan his body during the match. The results make no sense. His heart rate never changed, not even once. Celira looked up. He's not fighting with emotion. He's fighting with purpose. But what purpose? Tharn asked. Celira didn't answer, because she didn't know. Elsewhere, in the shadows, a secret transmission lit up across the galaxy. A message was sent from the arena's control center, hidden in encrypted code. Phase 2 confirmed. Subject is active. Strength increasing. Intelligence adapting. A reply came seconds later. Initiate Phase 3. Begin world simulation scan. Do not alert him. Do not interfere. Watch and wait. Jace's room. That night, Jace sat alone again. His shirt was off, and a strange glowing pattern ran along his spine, like blue circuits pulsing beneath his skin. He stared at his hand. Once it had been human. Now it was something else. But his voice was still soft as he whispered to himself, "Not yet. I'm not ready. Not until I know the truth." Then his eyes turned cold. And not until she knows it too. Behind the armor, the city of Varnak never slept. Its skies glowed with the lights of flying ships. Its streets were always full of noise, metal feet, and alien voices. But inside the high walls of the royal citadel, there was silence. Queen Celira stood alone on her balcony. She had not slept in 3 nights. Her mind was full of questions, and one name kept repeating inside her head. Jace Carter. She watched the stars above and whispered, "Who are you, human?" Deep inside the archives, below the palace, in a dark chamber lit only by soft green lights, Celira entered the royal archives. These rooms held secrets older than the Varnak Empire itself. Few were allowed here. Not even her guards followed her inside. She walked past glowing data walls, stopping at a section marked Terran Species. Human. She pressed her hand to the screen. Dozens of reports opened. Files about Earth's wars, peace treaties, space travel, and failed first contact missions. But none of it explained what she saw in the arena. Then one file caught her eye. Subject 0. Human experiment. Unauthorized transmission. She opened it. A shaky video played. Classified footage. Earth. 5 years ago. A destroyed battlefield. Smoke. Fire. Bodies. In the middle stood a man, his body bleeding, his face burned, his armor in pieces, but he was still standing. It was Jace. Soldiers around him screamed, "Fall back. He's not human anymore." One man shouted, "The experiment worked, but he's unstable." The camera shook as a blast of blue light wiped out everything in sight. Static. The video ended. Celira's eyes widened. He's a weapon. She took a step back, heart pounding. She had seen many warriors, many monsters, but never something like this. He didn't just survive war, she whispered. He was built to end it. Jace's room. The same night. Jace stood shirtless before a small mirror. The blue circuits on his back pulsed softly, like they were alive. He ran his hand across them. They were part of him now. He didn't ask for this. He never wanted it. In the corner, A tiny device blinked red. He looked at it and sighed. Still spying on me, Celira. He picked it up and crushed it gently in his hand. Flashback. Before the transformation, Jace was once just a soldier. Not a hero, not a legend, just a man who wanted peace. But after a failed mission that killed his entire team, Earth's secret military gave him a choice: die or become something new. They called the program Sentinel. They replaced broken bones with reinforced cells. His nerves were lined with memory steel. His mind was trained to think faster than machines. His heart, they said, might even be stronger than most engines. But it came with a price. He couldn't feel pain anymore. And sometimes, he couldn't feel anything at all. Celira makes a decision. Celira sat in her throne room the next morning. Her mind raced. She had mocked Jace. She had sent warriors to kill him. But now she realized he could have destroyed her any time. But he didn't. He showed mercy. And that confused her more than anything. "I want to speak to him," she said. Varn looked shocked. "You? Alone?" She nodded. "Yes. Alone." The meeting. Face to face. Jace sat at a long metal table inside a quiet room. No weapons. No cameras. Just silence. The door opened. Celira walked in, dressed in simple black armor, not the royal kind. She didn't come as a queen today. She came as a woman searching for answers. They sat across from each other. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Celira said, "Why didn't you kill me?" Jace looked at her calmly. "Because you didn't deserve to die." She frowned. "I attacked you. I tried to humiliate you. And I let you," Jace said, "because if I didn't, the galaxy would have feared humans even more." Celira leaned forward. "So it's true. You're not wearing armor. You are the armor." Jace nodded. "I am what your people made me fear." There was silence again. Then Celira asked something softer. "Do you feel anything anymore?" Jace looked down. "Sometimes. Not always. But lately, yes." She tilted her head. "Why lately?" He looked her in the eyes. "Because someone looked at me and didn't see a monster." An unspoken bond. They sat there longer than either expected. Jace spoke about Earth, his past, and how he used to be afraid of the stars. Celira shared her own pain, how she was raised to fight, never to feel. How every friend she had was lost in war. And somehow, in that cold metal room, they didn't feel so alone anymore. But peace never lasts. Suddenly, alarms blared through the citadel. A soldier rushed in. "My queen. The warlord Xeric has arrived with a fleet. He's demanding the human be handed over, alive or dead." Jace stood. Celira clenched her jaw. "If he wants you, he'll have to go through me." Jace looked at her with surprise. "You're defending me." She smirked. "You're in my city. No one touches my people without permission." He nodded. "Then let's show them what we both really are." A new enemy rises. The sky above Varnak turned dark, not because of night, but because of the shadow of war. Dozens of massive alien warships hovered in the clouds. Their lights flickered like angry stars. Their weapons were already locked on the palace. At the center of the fleet floated a black command ship shaped like a giant claw. Inside it stood a monster. His name was Warlord Xeric. He was no ordinary ruler. He was part machine, part flesh, and entirely built for destruction. His red cybernetic eye glowed, scanning every part of Varnak's capital city from his command center. He grinned. "Bring me the human," he said in a voice that sounded like metal grinding against stone. Back on the ground, in the palace, Queen Celira and Jace stood in the war chamber, watching the enemy fleet above. Red alert lights flashed on every wall. Officers shouted orders. Civilians were being moved underground. Varn approached in panic. "Warlord Xeric is demanding your surrender, my queen. He says you are protecting Earth's weapon." Jace stepped forward. He's not wrong. Celira glanced at him. Do you know him? Jace nodded slowly. Xeric was the leader of the Burning Crusade, a group that attacked 7 human colonies. I fought him once. Barely survived. Farn swallowed hard. If he defeated colonies, what hope do we have? Jace's voice was calm. That was before I became this. A dangerous message. Suddenly, the palace lights flickered. A loud screech echoed through the speakers. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. Xeric's face, half burned, half metal. Queen Celira, he growled, you disappoint me. You host a ticking bomb in your palace. That human abomination should not exist. Celira stood tall. He has done nothing to you. Xeric's metal eye flashed. Yet. He hasn't destroyed you. Yet. But he will. I decide who stays in my city, Celira said firmly. Then die with him, Xeric hissed. The hologram vanished. Preparation for battle. Celira turned to her guards. Seal the palace. Power up the shields. Prepare every fighter. We're going to war. Jace stepped beside her. Let me go. I'll face him alone. No, Celira said sharply. You're not a tool. Not anymore. He looked surprised. Even after everything, you believe that? I've seen what you are, she said, and what you're not. You didn't kill me. You saved your enemies. You fight only when you have to. Jace looked away. I still carry the weapon inside. Then pointed in the right direction. She said, the people speak. In the underground shelter, civilians huddled together. Aliens of every size and color, all whispering. Will the queen protect us? Will the human save us? A young alien child asked her father, is the human a hero or a monster? The father smiled and said, maybe both. Above them, the sky rumbled. The battle was coming. Midnight invasion. The first strike came at midnight. Xeric's ships fired plasma blasts at the outer wall. Explosions lit the sky. Screams echoed through the city. Fighter jets launched from Varnek's hangars. The battle had begun. Jace and Celira stood on the palace rooftop, watching fire rain from the sky. I'll go to his ship, Jace said. This ends with me and him. Celira grabbed his arm. Then I'm going with you. He blinked. What? You're not facing this alone. Jace smiled. You're not scared. I am, she said. But fear doesn't stop me. It drives me. The infiltration. Together, they entered a stealth ship, hidden from enemy radar. Celira piloted it through the chaos while Jace prepared. His skin began to glow softly. The circuits on his arms activated. He didn't need weapons. He was one. They dodged enemy fire and slipped into Xeric's main ship through a maintenance tunnel. Inside, it was cold, metallic, and crawling with guards. Celira whispered, ready? Jace nodded. Always. They moved like shadows. Jace taking down guards with silent precision. Celira slicing through defenses with smooth skill. She moved like water. He moved like fire. Together, they were unstoppable. Xeric awaits. At the heart of the ship stood Xeric, tall and terrifying. You brought a queen to your death, he mocked. Celira stepped forward. No, I came to watch you fall. Xeric's chest opened, revealing a cannon powered by stolen energy from fallen worlds. He roared and fired. Jace stepped in front, absorbing the full blast. Celira screamed, Jace. But the smoke cleared, and he was still standing. His armor had cracked, but not broken. I'm not that easy to kill, he said. Then he ran. A punch, a flash of light. Sparks flew. The ship shook. Xeric fought like a beast, but Jace was faster, stronger, smarter. Every hit was like thunder. The final blow. Xeric raised his cannon again. But this time, Celira jumped from behind, slicing off the arm. Jace landed one final strike, a blue blast straight to Zarek's chest. The warlord screamed, then collapsed. Silence. Victory. Aftermath. The battle ended. The skies cleared. Zarek's ships scattered. The people of Varnak stood in the streets, looking up as the palace lit up again. Jace and Celira returned, bruised, bloody, but alive. And for the first time, the people cheered for a human, not because he was powerful, but because he protected them. That night, Celira stood beside Jace on the balcony once again. "You saved my world," she said. "You saved my soul," he replied quietly. She looked at him. "So, what now?" He stared at the stars. "Now we wait. Someone created me. Someone sent Zarek. That means someone else is coming." Celira nodded. "Then when they do, they'll find two of us waiting." Rescue mission. The war was over. But peace never lasts long. The city of Varnak was rebuilding. Burned towers were being repaired. Families were returning to their homes. Flags were raised in honor of the Queen and the human who saved them, Jace Carter. To many, he was a hero. But in the dark corners of the galaxy, others saw him as a threat. A secret message. It was late at night. A soft rain fell across the royal balcony. Celira sat alone, watching the drops hit the glass. Her peace was broken when Tharn burst into the room. "My queen, an emergency transmission just came in. It's from the outer colonies." She stood quickly. "What happened?" Tharn handed her a blinking device. A hologram appeared, a terrified alien commander with blood on his face. "They took her, Your Majesty. They took the child. We tried to stop them, but it was too fast." The message cut off in static. Celira's heart dropped. "The child." Tharn nodded. "It's your cousin's daughter, barely 7 years old." "Who took her?" she asked. "We believe it's the Shadari Syndicate, Zarek's former allies. They want revenge, and they want the human." Jace's choice. Celira found Jace in the training arena. He was alone, moving through slow combat motions. His body glowed softly with blue light under the rain. "We need your help," she said. Jace paused. "What happened?" She told him everything. When she finished, she looked into his eyes. "I'll understand if you say no. You've done enough for us." Jace didn't speak for a moment. Then he said quietly, "Where is she being held?" The plan. The Shadari base was deep inside an asteroid field, hidden by magnetic storms and guarded by plasma mines. No fleet could get in. It was a death zone. Only a small ship with advanced navigation could make it through. Celira pointed at the map. "We send one ship. Small, silent, and we get her back." "I'll go alone," Jace said. "No," Celira replied firmly. "This is my family. I'm coming with you." Jace looked at her. "If you come, you might not make it back." Celira looked back. "Then we go down together." Into the storm. Their stealth cruiser flew silently through the asteroid field. The metal shook with every blast from the storm. Inside the ship, Jace adjusted his armor. Celira checked her twin blades. He looked at her. "You're quiet." She nodded. "I'm scared." Jace replied. "Good. Fear keeps us alive." "Do you ever feel fear?" she asked. He hesitated. "Only when I care." She looked at him for a long moment. "And do you?" He didn't answer. But he didn't have to. Arrival. The prison planet. They landed in total darkness. No lights. No noise. Just wind, dust, and silence. The prison was buried deep beneath the surface of a cold, dead moon. There were no walls. Only shadows. Jace and Celira moved fast through the tunnels. Alien guards spotted them. Too late. Jace moved like lightning, fists glowing blue. One punch could knock out steel. Celira danced between enemies, slicing without a sound. Together, they carved a path toward the child's signal. The chamber. They'd reached the last door. Behind it, a small alien girl was locked in a cage, crying softly. Celira ran forward. Mira. The girl looked up. Auntie. Jace stepped closer, scanning the room. It's a trap. The door slammed shut. Suddenly, the walls glowed red. A deep voice echoed. You came. Good. From the ceiling dropped a new enemy. Vornak, Zurich's brother, twice as cruel, half machine, half shadow. I don't want the girl, he growled. I want you, Jace. I want to see what Earth's weapon can really do. The battle. The room exploded in chaos. Vornak moved fast, swinging a massive axe charged with black plasma. Jace blocked it with his bare hands. His arms sparked, circuits straining. Celira fought beside him, protecting the child while cutting through drones pouring in from all sides. Jace began to glow brighter. Every strike, every hit, was stronger than the last. But something was wrong. His body was overheating. His veins lit up like blue fire. He gritted his teeth. I can't hold this form much longer. Celira saw it. His power was too much even for him. You have to stop, she shouted. But he shook his head. Not until she's safe. He lunged at Vornak with everything he had. A shockwave blasted the room apart. Silence. When the dust settled, Vornak was gone. Jace lay on the floor, smoke rising from his body. His armor was cracked. His eyes were closed. Celira rushed to him. Jace, Jace, wake up. He didn't move. The child cried. Then, his fingers twitched. He opened one eye. Still here, he whispered. Celira laughed through her tears. You idiot. Jace smiled weakly. Told you I'd get her back. Back to Varnak. They returned as heroes again. But something had changed. Jace was weaker now. Slower. The power that once made him unstoppable had taken something from him. And yet, he smiled more. He walked with people, talked, laughed a little. He was becoming human again. But Celira knew it was only for a short while. Because something darker was coming. The girl had whispered something before she slept. He's not the last one. There's another, stronger, watching. That night, Jace and Celira sat by the garden. The stars were quiet. She asked, Do you regret coming here? He shook his head. No. I found something here. What? She asked softly. He looked at her. You. She stands with him. The stars above Varnak were too quiet. No trade ships moved. No lights blinked. Even the wind felt like it was holding its breath. Something was coming. And it wasn't just another enemy. It was the one behind everything. The one who had built Jace. The one who had sent Zurich. The one who now wanted them both erased. A voice from the void. Late that night, every screen across the city turned black. Then a voice, cold and smooth, filled the silence. I gave life to the weapon you now protect. You've stolen him. Now I come to take him back. Then, a name appeared on every screen. Project T. Godfr. Jace knew. In the garden, under the moonlight, Jace sat with Celira. His face was calm, but his heart was heavy. I knew this day would come, he said softly. Celira looked at him. Who is it? He looked up at the stars. Dr. Voss, Earth's greatest mind, and its darkest secret. He created me, programmed me, controlled me. And now, she asked. Jace's voice tightened. Now he wants to activate the final command. Celira frowned. What does that mean? He didn't look at her. It means I stop being Jace. The final command. A small device inside Jace's spine, dormant for years, was waking up. It was designed to turn him into something else. Not human. Not even alive. Just a weapon. mindless, cold, pure destruction, unless they stopped it. The invasion. A massive ship larger than a mountain broke through hyperspace above Varnak. It had no windows, no visible weapons, just a smooth black surface and a pulsing red core. It wasn't a warship. It was a command vessel, a control center for one thing. Alarms screamed. People ran. Military ships launched. But nothing stopped its approach. A voice echoed across the city. Your queen cannot protect you. Return the asset, or we burn your world. Celira's stand. In the throne room, commanders panicked. Evacuate the capital. Raise the shields. Send everything. But Celira raised her hand. Stop. Everyone turned. We fight, she said, but not to protect Jace. They gasped. We fight to protect who he became. He is not a weapon. Not anymore. She looked at the people. I mocked him. I doubted him. I even tried to break him. But now, I stand with him. Jace's final choice. Jace stood before the control device in the palace vault. It pulsed with red light. He touched his chest. The final command was close to activating. He turned to Celira. If I lose control, you won't, she said. If I hurt you, you won't. His voice broke. You don't know that. She stepped closer. Her hand touched his face. I do. The climb to the core. Together, they took a strike team and launched toward the command ship. Fighter jets zipped through the skies. Anti-gravity tanks fired at the giant ship's underbelly. Jace and Celira entered through a breach blown open by her royal guard. Inside, it was silent. Steel walls, glowing red circuits, a deep hum. At the center was Dr. Voss, not a man anymore, but a consciousness inside a silver body. I made you perfect, he said to Jace. And she broke you. Jace stepped forward. No, she made me real. The final battle. Voss activated the core. Jace's body seized. He fell to his knees. His circuits glowed red. His eyes turned cold. Celira screamed, Jace, fight it. He rose slowly. His voice was robotic. Target. Eliminate threat. Celira stepped in front of him. Then eliminate me. Jace raised his hand, ready to strike. But his hand shook. His breathing changed, and slowly his eyes flickered from red back to blue. He growled, I am not your weapon. With one final push of will, Jace turned and threw a pulse of blue energy at the command core. It exploded. Dr. Voss screamed as his body melted into light. The ship began to fall. Escape and sacrifice. Jace and Celira ran. The halls collapsed behind them. They reached the exit, but the blast door was closing. Only one could make it. Jace stopped. Celira yelled, No, come with me. He smiled. You gave me back my soul. Let me give you back your future. He pushed her through. The door slammed shut. The fall. The command ship crashed in the ocean outside Varnak. A tidal wave hit the coast, but the city survived. For hours, there was silence. Then, a single beacon lit up on the beach, and Jace crawled out of the wreckage. Burned, weak, but alive. A new legend. The people called it the day the skies caught fire and were saved by a human. Jace didn't want statues. He just wanted peace. He stayed in Varnak, quiet, healing, teaching. And beside him always stood Celira. No longer enemies, no longer strangers, just two warriors who survived everything. Together. The end.